It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Yes, we gotta do it. We gotta talk a little bit of netball because we are so proud of our Proteas, albeit their Netball World Cup journey ended on a somber route, falling short against a very spirited Uganda in that 5th, 6th playoff place at the CTICC. Despite the very vibrant atmosphere, the Proteas, I think they struggled to keep pace, leading 47-49 in that final loss. And in the final, Australia, of course, dominating England for a well-deserved 61-41 triumph. Diamonds unstoppable and claiming the 2023 Netball World Cup Championship. So well done, ladies. This, of course, marked the 12th World Cup victory for the resilient Australian Diamonds, who unseated defending champions New Zealand, then finishing 4th as a result. And here to chat a bit more about yesterday's final day of the Netball World Cup is former Proteas player, who I'm sure is feeling far worse than me this morning, Liezel Stoltz. Liezel, so good to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
Mixed feelings around this. So much positive energy around netball, around this World Cup, around the tournament. On a personal level, how have you been able to wrap your head around what the ladies have been through? How are you feeling about what the Proteas achieved at this World Cup?
Yeah, I think they did fantastic. It's difficult. I mean, I feel the heartbreak and my heart's really sore for them because I think they deserved a better position. But to be honest, the top 6 teams were so on par this year. I mean, it could have gone any way in any game. And like we've seen, the one game England beat Australia by 1. And the next one, Australia beat them by 16. And yes, I think it's just showing that Australia's got so much depth. And they've got the luxury of just...
the resources to have...
Yes, and I mean, the top combination, they take both the shooters off and play their second best shooters, and they were the MVP. I mean,
the stars of the show, yeah. Look, and it does speak to a massive inadequacy or kind of shift in where resources lie within the general ecosystem, and hopefully this has addressed that to some degree. Against Uganda, it felt like the Ugandans certainly arrived, maybe too much for the Proteas, trying to process everything and being knocked out on home soil. What do you think happened in the match yesterday?
I'm not sure. I think it could have been a combination of tired legs and
tired minds.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. You know, sometimes the team that wants it more, I don't say that Proteas didn't want it more. Uganda maybe had more at stake. I'm not sure, but I mean, I think the Proteas played for top 4, not for 5th and 6th. So
100%.
You know, it's always difficult, and Uganda is not a country to not.
Well, we've been there before in the Commonwealth Games in this exact position, so we've tasted that before. What then do we take out as positives from this journey? Because the ladies have been knocking on that top kind of tier for the longest time, and we want to kind of feel like we own that. This felt like that was the chance to do it, and maybe we fell short. But so many positive elements. What have you been most encouraged from a netball perspective about this World Cup?
I think it's important that we also develop a depth, that we have not only 6 players maybe playing in the Super League or the Suncorp Super League in Australia, but that we have 12 or 15 or maybe 20 playing there, because we need to compete with the other countries in the world to be on the same level. And we can't have only 7 or 8 or 9 players that's top form. We need 15 or, you know, like the whole squad needs to be. We also need that luxury of taking any player off at any time and put...
And a like-for-like replacement, so we've seen it where rugby's toyed around with different hemispheres in that sense. It's very difficult when you're playing in a very much domestic league and you're coming up against so-called domestic teams that are composite international teams. It's just a different level altogether. In terms of what this Proteas side can do to take that next step, what is missing? What do we need? Is it just a case of spending money in the right places? From a South African perspective, we can't push players overseas, but we can do something about the state here.
I think, you're probably not going to like my answer, but...
No, but say it, go on.
I think it's important to support the players, and I think the players should be the most important people. The players, what was shocking to me is that the players weren't even supported by giving them tickets for their family to watch the game.
For sure.
And I don't know what went wrong there, but to have your family or your spouse or your fiancé or your children at the game, I think it's quite important, and that from an emotional, supportive point of view. And I think also the netball players should get more recognition. You get top trump cards about the cricket players, the soccer players, the rugby players. And the netball girls should get more recognised. And also, I think it should be about the players and not about the entourages or the organisation or other
the circus that
VIPs.
comes
So I
with it.
think
Yeah,
they
for
are
sure.
the most important.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, it's one of those where I wanted to say, maybe look into camera when you say those sorts of things. The blueprint is there, and I think most importantly, the ladies put their hands up, and it was such a wonderful personal journey to be a part of because it was on home soil. So I certainly feel I'm so much proud for all of the work that has happened to get to this point. I just wish the ladies could have had that validation, but we will make it our point as the fans to keep providing the validation. We support not just during the good times, but the tough times. That's when we prove our mettle as fans. But to all the Proteas ladies, before and now, we owe you a massive debt of gratitude. Kind of swimming this thing on a little lone canoe, we get that, and we are here to support you. So to everybody who supported them, well done. This World Cup we will claim as a success.